Look, I told you that I would know if you were telling the truth, but I also know if you're hiding something from me.
A lot of reasons that people conceal their feelings is they're embarrassed about how they feel. I think you're a wonderful actress.
Thank you.
Really wonderful actress. I've taught actors in the past, and one of the things I really like about them, compared to teaching anyone else, is that they don't usually get embarrassed when you pay attention to them. Okay? So do you ever get embarrassed acting? So I say you don't get embarrassed. She grooms her hair. See, just even naming the emotion that she's feeling increases the emotion. And so she does a hair groom.
Sometimes I get embarrassed if I'm in sort of a moment within a scene and something breaks that concentration. I think also people have a hard time with taking a compliment and then just giving a nice thank you and feeling they deserve it. I don't know, maybe I'm digging myself into a corner.
Possibly. No, you're not digging yourself into anything. That's the great look of embarrassment. Chin down, looking straight at me, big, broad smile. It can be very enjoyable, and she's having a good time right this moment.
As I get embarrassed, I might blush.
Good. That'd be very good.
Oh, yeah? I mean, he was very, very useful to me at the outset because he said everyone else is on stage as far as I'm concerned, but I'm not. So I don't worry about my own body language. I don't care about any of my gestures and micro-expression stuff. I don't have to control them. You know, he said it's a very relaxing place to be. For people who are coming to see me for other reasons, it's not so relaxing. Are you trying to cover up a crime?
No.
Lip curl, forced eye contact.
You're lying.
As far as the micro expressions are concerned, we've experimented a lot with them, actually. They've changed from episode to episode. If someone were to watch the show from beginning to end, they'd see all kinds of different presentations.
How do you show something that he sees and make it clear that the other characters around him aren't seeing it?
We've gone as far as experimenting with, seeing what he sees in the muscles moving, and we've actually even done some tests with visual effects to sort of like you can see the muscles move, to putting numbers like in our main title sequence. We've gone to just simply not doing that at all and just doing extreme close-up so that you get the impression that that's what Lightman's looking at. And sometimes we feel that was too much. It takes you out of the story. It's better to just sort of see how he reacts to it.
I don't know what else to do.
He's telling the truth.
It's a really odd challenge because we all know intuitively that we feel when we feel anger or rage or contempt. We all sort of know what that means to us, but we all think we show it in a different way.
Yeah, it's a masking smile. She's smiling, but her eyes say she's afraid. Very afraid.
Will you pull up the masking smiles?
Yeah.
I also became concerned if they show something that's wrong, someone may watch Lie to Me and someday be on a jury and think that they see something they saw on Lie to Me, and that's why they know this person is guilty of the crime. And that's when it was agreed I'd start writing these weekly commentaries so that people who are interested in knowing where's the science and where are they taking liberties.
Right. Actually, this has been very interesting, this tension between science and art. And early on, both Paul and I were very, strict. We do very rigorous research. And this was going to be this public display of this work. And we wanted to make sure that anything they used was, 100% accurate.
Sometimes the program solves things more quickly. In my weekly critique, it's called The Truth About Lie to Me, Separating the Science from the Fiction, I often say at the outset, remember, Dr. Lightman, he only has 45 minutes to solve a problem. I've never solved a problem that quickly. Okay? And he's absolutely certain. I'm never absolutely certain.
Are you telling me you're 100% sure?
Yes. But
But this is an entertainment program based on science. And a lot of what you see is true. It's just condensed in time and with more certainty.
I'd clear the area, you know, just in case I'm wrong. I think with the science, from the science side of stuff, I think they've made jumps. They have recognized that we're living in a fictional world, but not living in a factual world. And you use what you need to do to get by in this fictional world. And if it bumps up against the science, sometimes the science wins, sometimes it loses, you know. And it's, you know, I mean, I'm sure Paul must look at it and go, you know, oh dear. I want you to meet some friends of mine.
Gonna cost you extra.
I suspect you're worth it.
You want people to go to commercial and think, wow, I'm still going to stick around for those commercials and come back because I want to find out what happens next. So artistic license is just another way of saying that you've got to keep people's butts in the seats.
We've also found that sometimes, no matter what we say, the writers or the crew, they decide not to do it because they don't want to, you know, and that was a thing that was very frustrating earlier on. But after a while, it's just like, you know, you let go of it because this is television, you know.
You try, and from the pilot onwards, you try and get it right. And the guys that were working on the show last year really try to hit the science and be true to Ekman's world. And that was a bumpy ride because this isn't Ekman, this is Lightman. It's a very different world that he operates in.
I should tell you that my contract with 20th Century Fox said that they can use any of my science except my work with the Dalai Lama. That is excluded. But the character, the scientist Lightman, cannot be the same age, not the same nationality, cannot be married, cannot have 2 children, and he cannot have a personality similar to me. And Tim fits that perfectly.
As we crept towards the end of the first season, it started to be, what's the character feeling? Where do we want him to be? What do we want him to be going through? Now let's write to that. With Sean, that's where he put it.
Working with Sean Ryan has been great. He brings a lot of intensity to the storytelling. He likes to tell stories that really bring the characters to the edge, to the extreme. So he's added a lot of adrenaline to the show.
Well, television's a very collaborative medium, and first of all, I have a tremendous group of writers who work with me. And so I find that to throw ideas out and have those ideas immediately challenged, to have ideas thrown on top of ideas from different voices is oftentimes the best way to come up with those stories and those twists that the viewers really like.
You play around with comedy and you play around with serious stuff all at the same time.
Are you out of your mind? No, not right now, but in a couple of hours I'm going to be really very drunk.
I think if it was a one-dimensional character, I'd be bored very, very quickly.
Hey! Whoa! You think I'm playing around? Absolutely not.
What keeps me sane is that he's quite fascinating, and you can come up with and invent new characteristics and weird stuff to do all the time. And the odder the situation that he's in, the better for me.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, arrest Poppy.
For what?
Murder. Seen that face before.
And it is amazing to me that they are willing to try to stick close to the science rather than make it up like a lot of their competition does.
I'll let Paul speak for Paul, although I have a sense of what it's done for him. I mean, he was already very famous as a scientist, but I think it kind of catapulted him a little bit into a pop figure, and which is I'm sure at this point in his career, he's getting a hell of a kick out of. I know he loves it when he does do the Hollywood thing and all that stuff.
What are you doing here? Fine, it's fine. Good, how about you? And the Lie to Me program has itself brought me more public attention than I can deal with.
This is exciting, isn't it?
Pictures up, guys. Last looks, please. Last looks. Good, thank you.
Sam Bauman and Sean Ryan are really totally with this. And as long as the program has good ratings, that's great with Fox.
Well, I felt so fortunate to get to work with Dr. Ekman through this project. It's been one of the best things about it. His research is very much an inspiration for a number of the scenes, a number of the techniques that Dr. Lightman uses, and I can't imagine doing the show without Dr. Ekman.
What did that mean, that scratch?
That, it's a little dandruff.